debate tonight focuses exclusively on foreign policy. The two of you, shush, we're starting the show. Major, Susie, I don't have to call you out, but I will. Major developments over the weekend, talking about our nation's tense relationship with Iran, the September 11th attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, the candidates likely to face some very, very tough questions. We want to get right to the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, also the chairman of the Council of the Americans, foreign policy veteran John Negropnte joining us this morning. It's nice to see you, sir, and thank you very much for talking with us. Let's begin first with who you believe has the advantage when it comes to foreign policy.
Well, I think as a general rule, the incumbent does, because they've got the record, the experience, and I think generally speaking, to the extent that foreign policy is an issue in elections, it's a referendum on the policy of the incumbent. I think the challenger, by definition, has less experience in that area, has got to be convincing that he would be a good commander-in-chief. But he's got to do that by referring to other aspects of his record. Obviously, he hasn't got a foreign policy record to point to.
So talk to me a little bit about Benghazi, because I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about Benghazi, we're going to talk about China. So let's start with Benghazi. We now know from various reporting that it looks as if the president for the first 10 days, I believe, or so, was getting flawed intelligence. How does this change the conversation that's going to happen tonight? Also, we know from LA Times reporting that they're saying that it looks like Al-Qaeda may not have been involved in this attack. Can you explain how all that will impact what happens tonight?
Right. Well, first of all, let me say, if 90 minutes tonight are devoted to a discussion of Benghazi, I think we're all going to be the poorer for it. There are just so many other issues out there. Benghazi is symptomatic of continued instability in the Middle East, and I think that's the broader conversation that has to be had in regard to the Middle East. What's going to happen to Egypt? What's going to happen to the Iran nuclear program? But I certainly hope that they get over to issues such as Afghanistan and Pakistan, the fate of Afghanistan after we've withdrawn our troops in 2014. And most importantly of all, if you're talking about foreign policy, what's going to happen to that very, very important relationship, bilateral relationship between the United States and China? That's the 800-pound gorilla, if you will, with respect to the future of United States foreign policy.
So, Ambassador, what do you think of one of the issues I'll certainly be debating tonight is Mitt Romney's call for labeling China a currency manipulator on day one. What do you think about that? What would be the impact of that on that broader relationship that you just described?
Well, yeah. I think historically what's happened through the past 8 presidencies is quite often during political campaigns, there's some heated rhetoric about China, antagonism and so forth. And then when presidents take office, they find that really what they've got is a management issue. They've got to manage the relationship with China. It's too important to shoot ourselves in the foot, so to speak. And so I think he's going to have, if he gets elected, some very tough decisions. The other thing I'd say with respect to that is I'm not certain that you can declare China a currency manipulator in day one. There's a process that has to be gone through, and if he's elected, I suspect that's what will happen.
Ambassador, what also jumps out, we've heard General Colin Powell criticize Mitt Romney by keep talking about Russia and their influence. Would it be a mistake for Romney to focus on that tonight as opposed to Asia, as opposed to the Middle East?
Well, I mean, I think that particularly for Mr. Romney, but for both candidates, they're going to want to show that they have a good appreciation of global affairs as a whole, all 5 continents, so to speak. So surely if Russia comes up, I think he's going to touch on the fact that they have become a somewhat more antagonistic power in recent years. They're feeling their oats, so to speak. They've been antagonistic towards their near abroad, and they've been more difficult to deal with, both bilaterally in the Security Council and elsewhere. So certainly that's going to be one of the topics of discussion.
Ambassador John Negropnte joining us this morning. Thank you, sir, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll have complete live